Hello folks, this is Dimitry. Welcome to my weekly listener recap. I did skip a week. I was not overly enthusiastic by the theme of the previous puzzle, and I'm not sure I'm actually all that enthusiastic about the theme of this one, but this one is by a setter called Dimitry, as you can see, and not only the pseudonym is basically my name with an extra I, and I think it comes from both Dimitry, which is, he's called in the official English historiography? Is it false Dimitry? Yeah, it comes from both false Dimitry and I believe is an Otto Shostakovich, and is a pseudonym of John Grimshaw, who is one of the most famous, I think, listener setters. And I believe I should say a few words about him, so let's switch to the listener website and have a look at the stats. So Dimitry, John Grimshaw, started setting the listeners in 1981, so that's 45 years ago, and way before, more than 3 years before I was born. And as you can see, the last one, because the website has not yet updated for the most current one, I think it takes a week, or maybe two, but basically because the solutions are going to be published in 2.5 weeks, so by that time there will be a new entry here. But as of now, on the website, the latest puzzle by Dimitry is puzzle number 4000, which I believe was a puzzle which involved 4 different setters. Let me try and copy this. Yeah, there we go. So it was by Dimitry, Viking, Arcturus, and Trev. Trev being pseudonym of John Green, who of course was the listener statisticians for about 40 years. And it was a monstrous grid and a really fabulous way to celebrate 4,000 listeners. Now, of course, we are getting close to 5,000 now, and I believe 5,000 is going to happen. Is it next year? Maybe it is next year. I haven't checked. But yeah, it's coming soon, and I imagine the plans are already well in place, and who knows, maybe the puzzle is already test solved and ready. I don't know. But anyway, so and before that, there was another Dimitri a year before, and there was a 4-year gap before that. But anyway, nothing from Dimitri for 18 years, and now suddenly we get one. So clearly, we have to pay attention. And here's another one, another kind of little bit of statistics that we should pay attention to, I think, because it's one of the most famous puzzles by Dimitry, and also, and I might have mentioned it somewhere else, when I just started solving the listeners, I sent the first few entries to John Green, and about a month later I received a letter from John Green very kindly sending me the statistics pack for the previous year, and also mentioning in passing that if I have access to the Times archives, I should try to dig out the puzzle from 1991 called Russian Revolution by Dimitry. So of course, John Green, realizing that I am called Dimitry and being from Russia, suggested this puzzle to me. And if we look at the statistics from 1991, as you can see, so with this tick, this tick indicates the number of correct solutions for each given puzzle. And you can see like they are in there to 200, sometimes going as far as 800, sometimes going as low as 91. And that carries on until we get to Russian Revolution by Dimitry, which has 17 solutions. Now, what happened in that puzzle is that some entries you had to rotate like solid bodies. So rotate or translate. Basically rotate. And the other ones you have to translate. And the preamble didn't specify, you know, what that translation means, but you actually had to translate them into Russian. And you had to end up with Cyrillic letters. And because, say, the corresponding crossing entries were rotated, so you could get Russian ya from Cyrillic ya from Latin R, and so on. And so I believe that was that could possibly be the only time in history of the times where the word agronom was published in Russian in the Times. Anyway, that was in 1991. So let's see what Dimitry could give us in 2026. It's called Pi, and it has a remarkably short preamble. The four include three-letter entries, so as you can see, there are indeed four include three-letter entries. They are this one, this one, this one, and that one. Could be each derived in the same way from the 16-letter include entries. Solvers must highlight the three cells that similarly give another word semantically fitting the theme. Chambers Dictionary is the primary reference. So these three are the 16-letter include entries. And so we can see that quite a lot of things that are typical in these thematic puzzles are missing. The clues are all normal. And you don't have to do anything specific with the entries. The only thing is that quite a lot of you have these three overlong entries, and so they contribute to a lot of unchecked letters because you don't know what they are. And so also you have these little ones which also get in the way. But apart from that, you know, solve a clue, write the word in the grid, repeat. Nothing special here, which might suggest that the clues are very hard, and indeed they are. So for me, this was probably on par with Saber's set of clues in terms of hardness, and that says a lot. Now, because there's like nothing in terms of, almost nothing in terms of endgame that you could deduce from the puzzle early on, there is no like early penny drop moments. I think I would just go through various stages and maybe comment on some individual clues. So at some point my grid looked like this, and at this point I had no idea about the 16-letter entries yet. So which of these clues I could maybe comment on? I don't know, let's pick a few at random. So 9, artificial intelligence, new universal language. That was probably the easiest clue. Artificial intelligence being AI, new abbreviates to N, universal abbreviates to U, and you get Ainu, which I believe are people and their language in Japan, I think. And what else? Well, okay, let's have a look at 13 across. Crustaceans right and side channel in boondocks. So I can't even remember what boondocks here indicates. I mean, it's some indication of certain dialect or like local word, but basically kill is a channel in some very specific kind of context. I mean, okay, I'll have a look at my Chambers app now to verify what is exactly that context. So kill is a channel in, okay, that's US dialect. So let's see what those boondocks, that's wild or remote country in North American informal. Okay, dull provincial place. So some dusty corners of North America. So, and there you get Q as a word for channel, you put right and side, and you get krill, and those are these little shrimps that sort of, I think, are like form part of plankton. Maybe not. Yeah, they are eaten by whales. I think plankton is eaten by whales. So now, what else? I don't know. Cube is a neat clue, 21 across. Solid metals used for alloys. So both Cu and B, as read as chemical elements, are metals used for alloys, and so cube is as a solid geometric body, and so on. Okay, let's move on. Also, do I have I solved it on paper, and I might have left that paper downstairs, which is a bit annoying because I also had some comments there. Anyway, and then I solved a few more, and I think it's about here when I finally realized what the 16 letter unclued entries are. Okay, maybe let's have a look at another clue. Reported spring with vital fluid flowing beneath surface of Mars. Here, the surface reading very much wants you to think of Mars as a red planet, but you have to think of it as Greek, or rather Roman god, and ichor is the blood of gods, and so oh, I'm not even sure how the wordplay here works. I just realized that I solved it from the definition. Reported spring. So it's a homophone of some spring, and I'm not even sure how exactly that works. And to be honest, for quite some number of clues here, I'm not even sure I parsed them correctly. So they are really, really, really hard. But just nothing else fits, so must be right. I mean, I might pay for that. We'll see. By the time you are watching this, you know, I mean, the answer is on the website, so you can check whether I was wrong or not. But basically at this point, I realized that this very much looks like first. And then I looked at this and I realized that first among equals is a phrase that fits there. And I was very lucky with that because, as you'll realize in a moment, looking at the other two would not have helped in the similar way, because I was trying to fit here like photos, and then nothing sensible goes there. And here I was thinking promising, and then you get error or something, or I was thinking something. I think I came up with something like dramas in terraces or something, and I was thinking, could there be some, I don't know, like sitcom about, or whatever, about some events in terraced houses or something. So, but anyway, then after a while you could realize that the origin of this phrase is actually Latin, and it's primus inter pares. Now I'm just mildly confused whether have I spelled this right? Yeah, it is primus, right? Rather than yeah, primus inter pares. And then you could also, now that we have it in two languages, you can think about the third one. Oh, where did the highlighting go? And then you can translate it into Greek, and there it reads protos metaxieison, which is probably not how it's read, but that's roughly how it's spelled in English, and I'm sure I completely butchered the pronunciation there. Now we need to understand what's happening with the unclued entries, and they somehow are derived from those. And then suppose like we're looking at this Rio, and we suddenly realize that this Rio, you can read off the corresponding elements here, and that is true for all the others. As is where there, ASS. Similarly, Lior is there, and finally Mim you could get here. And now we need to find another one, and the only one I could come up with that is somewhat thematically, well, how does it go? Semantically fitting the theme is this one, which is 1, right? Because, you know, first among equals, I don't know, maybe you're thinking of number 1, like, you know, number one in some team or whatever. I don't know. I'm still a little bit unsure about this actually, so I'm probably going to give it another, like, I'm not going to send this straight away, and I'm going to think for about half a day trying to see whether any other similar things have some significance. Because, for example, if here there would be something like AOC that I could derive, which would be like Archbishop of Canterbury, who I think is very much regarded as primus inter pares in Anglican Church, I would be tempted to put that, but I don't see it. I mean, Prime Minister in the UK is another kind of idea that he's just one of the MPs, so he's also like first among equals there in the sense that he's just an MP, but chosen to be leader of the cabinet. But again, like, I don't see any specific prime minister there. So, for example, I don't know if there was like May, would have considered that. So I'm not 100% sure. And if this is indeed true and that I just need to highlight one, it is a tiny bit underwhelming. As to me is probably the whole puzzle. I mean, I guess what is the motivation? The motivation is that somehow those two phrases in those three languages have the same number of letters. And this is great, and I definitely think, why not make a puzzle out of that? But I kind of struggle to see like what other thematic considerations kind of go into that. And this being Dimitry, I very much assume it is me missing something rather than sort of it not being in the puzzle. So I'm going to wait to official puzzle notes, and probably, if there is anything deeper there, I'm going to put it in the video description. Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and let's see what the next lesson is going to be. And having Dimitry and Saber in the space of 3 weeks is hugely exciting. Thank you for watching. Bye.